Hey everybody. I know it's hard to tell, but lurking in the shadows down there is my brand new Panda Aranda Peacock Fantail. Beautiful goldfish. But when she first went into the tank, she was experiencing a fair amount of harassment. And she kind of went into hiding for a couple days, and I didn't see her. And she's out and about today. She seems to be left alone for the most part. She doesn't seem to be bothered by anybody else in the tank, but she does have some markings down one side, her left side. If you can actually make it out right there a little bit through all the glare on the water, she's got some rub marks, and it almost looks like raw skin. And so we're doing a big water change on the tank today, just in case there's excess bacteria. I don't think there is. I did a see, that side looks great, but if she turns around and you see the other side of her, you'll see a big sort of pale mark. It almost looks pinkish, and I believe that that pink color is her raw skin you're seeing. So at any rate, I don't really think there's anything going on with the water. I did a nitrate test, which I'm not concerned about the nitrates themselves, but it's a good way to get an idea what's going on in the tank. If the nitrate's building up real heavily, then you've probably got other stuff that's building up in there real heavily, and bacterial loads could be one of those things. And I'm just afraid she's going to get an infection. You can see her little face sticking out now. So she's clearly just chilling out. Nobody's bothering her. She's not being harassed. I'm not too worried about that anymore at this point. You can even see the goldfish right next to her, and they're just not really bothering her. So I'm certainly more concerned now about getting her injury healed up. I think once she's healed up, she'll be fine, and everything will be hunky-dory with her in the tank here. She is really not going to show us that other side of her, is she? There, you can kind of see it there. She's swimming away. You see that pale mark on her left side near the back of her. I think that's a rub mark from her sort of wedging herself in between two things. She's not really shaped to be wedged between things, but that's what I think she was doing. You can see her tail under there again now, and actually you can kind of see the pale marking there. Let me see if I can zoom in while she's sitting still. You see the pale marking back right there where my fingertip is pointing? That's not supposed to be there. Her side is supposed to be completely black. There's a little bit of white on her face, and then her belly is white, but that black should look like she's wearing like a black shawl draped over her whole back. And you can see all that pale color right there. That's a rub mark. That's like a burr. So I've seen fish with worse. I'm not too worried about it, but at the same time, I don't see any reason why I can't just do a simple water change on the tank. Don't know if I started saying or not, but I did check the nitrate. Not that I'm concerned about the nitrate itself, but it's a good proxy for what's going on in the tank. And surprisingly, the nitrate only came out about 20 parts per million. The nitrate in this tank is actually less than it is in my Discus tank over here, and that's after a series of water changes because I was having an issue with the Discus. They all pulled through nicely. You can see how bright and colorful they are. Still have a few little fin tips that are a little ruffled and need to be healed up a little bit, but we're done with treating this tank. I did a water change on it today, and I didn't even bother to add any medication when I was done. I just salted it a little bit and kept the temperature right where it was, and we're good to go. I am going to keep feeding the fish the medicated food for a couple more days though, just in case, but we're pretty much done with treating the tank, and it came out just fine. Didn't lose a single discus. Everybody is fit as a fiddle. So back to this tank, I can't say quite as much for my big Wednesday in there. So hopefully she'll be fine. Like I said, I'm not too worried about it. I did save some of the original water just so you can see how much tannin had actually built up in it. That's another reason I wanted to do a water change. I do like tannin stained water, but I do also like to be able to look in the tank and see my fish. And when you've got really dark colored fish and you put them in water that's that stained, they just sort of get really tough to see when they're down at the bottom. And she spends a lot of time down at the bottom. So Miss Wednesday is doing it just fine, except for that little rub mark. I think she's going to be okay. And there's your brief update on the pond while we've got it half filled. I love the way the waterfall looks when it's actually got water to fall. So we might not fill it up quite as much as we did last time, but we're going to fill it up back to, you know, being a full tank. Last time I filled it up so much that I actually got a little bit of that capillary action through these folds and creases, and you can see the stain right here is water that was dripping down the tank for a few days until the water level got low enough that it stopped drawing it up. But presumably it's coming up through this fold right here. This is the big main fold that goes over, so it's all the stuff from the corner all wrinkled and folded, like you're folding a package up or wrapping a package and fold it over. So if you look in there, there's a big area, like you could theoretically slide your hand, you know, behind the lining. Well, in all four corners it's like that. On this side you can see it very clearly because there's nothing blocking it. So that's all just sort of folded over and then folded over this way, and that makes for a really big gap for water to, you know, that wick effect, that capillary action, for that water to weep up inside this and drip over. That's what we had going on at the bottom end, but I sealed it and it stopped leaking. So I didn't have any issues with this end until I filled it way up to the top. So as long as I don't do that, I don't think we'll have any more issues. So there you go, everybody. There is an update on my pond. A little longer than I thought it was going to be, but you know how it goes with me. If you don't know how it goes with me, make sure you subscribe, and then you will know how it goes with me. It's usually a little bit on the long-winded side. But thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Don't forget I do a live stream every Friday night and Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I do a members-only private live stream on Wednesday, so if you're interested in that, check out the memberships. Otherwise, until the next one, thanks for watching this one. I'll see you soon.